Welcome, everybody. We are just about to get started. I'm going to start with a video.
Here at Greater Lowell Tech, got a bunch of awesome students from Auto Tech and a nice big crowd. And we're going to award this car donated by Village Automotive Group.
My name is Jackie. I'm with the Harriet Tubman Project. I met Hamza through my partner, Fuquan, who is the founder of the Harriet Tubman Project, with the work that they do behind the wall through the African American Coalition Committee. So just doing a lot of civic engagement from behind the wall, legislative work, helping brothers educate them about the legal world and structural racism, and really freeing themselves just like Harriet did, and coming back to free others.
And when you talk about behind the wall, just to be very specific,
We're talking about people, incarcerated people that are behind prison
people
walls,
serving time.
That are doing exceptional things, and Hamza has been doing that since well before I've met him. So with the referral of the African American Coalition Committee and the referral of Fuquan, and with my own experience working with Hamza and seeing his advocacy in the community since returning, he was definitely an exceptional referral for the Second Chance Cars program. So I'm very excited. I'm actually pretty emotional, trying to fight back tears because he really deserves it. And I am just so proud of all the youth as well that put all the work into these vehicles, because you just have no idea how impactful it's going to be, not just for him, but for everyone that he's going to be able to touch. And all the legislative work that he's still doing to help those that are behind the wall, which is exactly the essence of the Harriet Tubman Project. So I am very excited to be here today, and thank you, Hamza, for really putting in the work and making it easy to refer you. I was very excited to do so.
Not everybody gets referred, and you choose them carefully because you want them to succeed.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate you, Jackie.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, Hamza. Hi, we're here for you. So before you get you into your car and the rest of your life, just anything you want to share about anything at all?
So my name is Hamza. And just first, I just want to say thank you to everyone here being present, but also just for everything that you put into the car, didn't put in, but still being present here. Thank you so much love. And also thank you for all the Second Chance Cars members, the board, Dan, Jacqueline, Truth, Corey, Mark, Jill, and just showing up. So I'm definitely appreciative. I'm super grateful. And just a little bit, I spent a little over close to 16 years in prison, and I was able to get my bachelor's degree inside. Now I came out, able to get accepted to Harvard Divinity School.
Harvard Divinity School, in case you didn't hear, because there's some noise, which is incredible. I just wanted to make sure people heard.
And like what Jacqueline was saying is that I've been trying to keep persistent in some of the work that I've been doing, and never forgot what I just went through and where I came from being in a carceral setting and helping people change their narrative, right? Because what's the big factor is that we're only remembered for the worst thing that we ever done, and never remembered for the best things that we've done. So my whole point is to not only represent myself in the best narrative, but also represent those that I know that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants that taught me and mentored me while I was inside. So I think for me, it's just really important that I show up and be in these spaces. And I hope and I know that this, being a recipient of the Second Chance Cars, this would help me truly in not only my work, but also in my advocacy work, and to help freeing other people and helping them change their narrative as well. So thank you.
So let me just ask you before we take the cover off the car, but that it's kind of a cliche question, but what would you say to your younger self if you could?
So what I'll say to my younger self is that be patient, be graceful to yourself, be kind to yourself, and understand that you are great, you are important, you do matter, and that you are not the worst thing that you ever done.
Awesome. All right. Well, Hamza, anybody want to help take the cover off the car? All right. This is a nice car that is now made really nice, courtesy of this great crew here at Greater Lowell. Here we go. Thank you, Village Automotive. It's an '03 Lexus, and awesome.
Whew. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Harriet Tubman Project. I get emotional rewatching that video. It's the first time I'm watching it since I was there. And what you've seen is Hamza, one of our Harriet Tubman Project alumni that recently came home less than a year ago, doing incredible things in the community. And we referred him to Second Chance Cars so that he can get a vehicle, which is something that he needed during his transition. So today, our Zoom topic is services. What services do we provide and what services are coming? And that's one of the services that we provide. We have successfully referred 5 people to Second Chance Cars as of last week. Those are 5 lives that we've changed with that referral that will then change 5 more. Like everyone that we've referred has done incredible work and is associated with Harriet Tubman Project in some way or shape or form. So if your loved one is incarcerated and they're part of the AACC, these are the type of referrals and services that we want to be able to provide your loved one when they come home to get on their feet and stay home. So just wanted to open up today's session with that. We have some new faces. Welcome, welcome everybody. It is October 8th, and I am Jacqueline Fonseca, the co-executive director of the Harriet Tubman Project. We meet weekly from 7 to 8 p.m. We have loved ones on the call. We have men that call in from prison that are on the call with us. We have advocates, pretty much anyone that's interested in learning how to advocate for themselves or advocate for someone else, or maybe just want to learn a little bit about structural racism and wrongful convictions. So I co-host this Zoom weekly with Fuquan, and inside of MCI Norfolk, Fuquan and our other co-facilitators run a legal class Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 3 o'clock, where they teach the law. And that is how we've been able to help empower folks, empower themselves to get home. And as of today, we have 6 people that are HTP alumni that are on this side of the wall, and we are excited to have that continue to grow. So welcome. I'm gonna have Fuquan introduce himself.
Peace. I appreciate all within the listening air. My righteous name is Allah Fuquan. I've been in physically for 28 plus years. Been through various prisons throughout the state. From 19 years old, I pretty much self-taught. I learned English language. I learned literacy. I learned about my value. And then when I was found guilty of first degree, I had to learn about the law, because emotion wasn't going to get me out. Being frustrated wasn't going to get me out. Learning the law was going to get me out. So I started studying law from the beginning. And once I started studying it, I started seeing patterns and practices in other cases. And then I started realizing I wasn't the only one impacted by it. Others were. Sad part was they didn't know how deep the injustices were. So I started teaching classes. And that's why I just developed the literacy throughout the years to kind of facilitate the classes. In 2021, orientated brothers to the Harriet Tubman Project with the aim of learning how to get people out. Once they get out, come back and get 2 or more. And that's just been what we've been building on. We just did our 411th Harriet Tubman Project yesterday. So, just here to pay it forward. You can only give what you got. And, I'm here till I'm not. Peace.
Thank you, Fu. 411 Harriet Tubman classes, just straight experience, literacy of the law, and community. So with very little to no resources, as a community from both sides of the wall, we're doing our best to educate ourselves, empower ourselves, and do that for each other. And I always open up with this quote, "My pain is real, this is my advocacy." I resonate with that because this is why I do this work. My pain is real. We all have a story. We all have a reason why we're on the Zoom today, why we are doing what we're doing in our professional or personal lives. And that advocacy is rooted in our story. So remember why you got started. So as Fuquan mentioned, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 3 at MCI Norfolk. If you have a loved one that's at Norfolk and they're not connected with the Harriet Tubman Project, please have them ask for Fuquan. They can ask anybody, get connected, get signed up, and learn a little bit about how to understand their case and how to understand systemic racism and how to begin to work on your case. Because if we're not talking about freedom in prison, then we're not getting anywhere, literally. And the goal is not to get comfortable in prison, it's to get out of prison. So that's what they're going to be doing behind the wall. And even when Fuquan is free, we're going to continue to have those educational classes in our facilitators are going to step up even more. And then every Wednesday from 7 to 8, we're on Zoom here, and we're bringing the whole community together, doing the best that we can. So that's 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're meeting outside of events and stuff. And our mission through education and advocacy, we strive to create more Harriets leading the way to freedom and systemic change. So as Fuquan mentioned and Hamza mentioned, you got to free yourself mentally, physically, before you can free anybody else. And that's what we're working on. Our goal is to reform redress, change the way that we're looking at redress. And that's by putting those directly impacted in the beginning, in the front, leading the pack to freedom, just like Harriet did. We are the best knowers of our pain.
Brothers ask me all the time, loved ones ask me all the time, how am I holding up? And I'm holding up because I'm resilient. I understand, like, my narrative. I'm not someone that is silent about the system. I'm not somebody that will be condescending to my own truth about the system. I speak truth to power, and I know there's consequences to that. I may not be in the minimum right now specifically because of my advocacy. There's a lot of things that happen because of my advocacy, and I understand exactly who I am to me, and that's who I am to my community. So I expect them to take me through every inroad, but my freedom isn't something that they can give me. It's something that I earn. So I know that we have to go through every spectrum of the system, because when I am on the other side, they're going to hear about every spectrum of the system, not because I read some book about it, but I experienced every aspect of it. So, you know, I'm fortunate to have an empowering support team, you know, with my queen and my sister.
You have 1 minute left.
My mother and my brothers on this side. But I knew this was going to transpire, but I knew I would be home sooner than later. And I'm just appreciative, you know, of the support and the literacy that I'm extracting in this moment.
Thank you, Fu. I'm going to open it up to you all, starting off with anyone that's calling from behind the wall, because we are a community. It's more than just Fuquan that's putting in all this work.
Hello?
We can hear you, Jeff.
Hello, first and foremost, how you doing?
Wonderful. Peace.
Peace, peace. My name is Jeff Moultrie. I'm a member of the Harriet Tubman Project. You know, I enjoy going. I learn a lot. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to Fu being on the other side of the wall with you guys. You know, so we all waiting on that time. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate all the work that you're doing to advocate for yourself. I see it. And for others. So thank you so much. That's exactly the essence of Harriet Tubman. Nia, if you want to introduce who he is, Alameen is doing incredible work, and his work is felt, whether you know it or not. You've been impacted by the work of him and Nia. The fact that we can have free phone calls is a huge initiative that Alameen, Nia, the No Cost Call Coalition, Keeping Families Together Coalition has put in to make sure that our phone calls, our emails, our video calls are free. So again, a lot of the stuff that we get to benefit from is coming from behind the wall. So we always want to give them credit where credit is due. And right now, I know Alameen's working to get voting rights back to those that are incarcerated, and along with Hamza and a whole bunch of other incredible people. So thank you for all the work you do, Alameen. So you guys heard about a little of the services that we provide. I want to go more in detail. So one of the things that we do that we're really big on is court support. Harriet Tubman Project promotes, organizes, and mobilizes community members to attend court proceedings in support of defendants, particularly those impacted by systemic injustice, racial bias, or wrongful conviction, like what we're doing for Raymond Gaines. And this is not limited to Harriet Tubman Project. This is not limited to MCI Norfolk. If you know someone in another facility and they have some type of systemic injustice, racial bias, or wrongful conviction, we will help with creating flyers to get the word out so we can get people out there, to organize people to show up in person or to show up virtually. And when I tell you showing up is important, it is important, because when they say Commonwealth versus McGee, Commonwealth is me and you, literally. Not only our names, but our tax dollars are being used to prosecute people wrongfully. So it is important that the Commonwealth is in the room, whether physically or virtually, to hold them accountable. And I said it before and I'll say it again. I was at a court hearing where I was the only person there and they didn't know who I was. And I seen the prosecutor and the defense attorney just having fun, talking personal. I thought they were literal brothers and sisters. They were hanging out, shooting the shit in the hallway, and then came into the courtroom, and I'm like, what is going on here? And this is they work together. They're co-workers, you know? So we have to be in the room. We have to be holding them accountable. So I made sure that they knew who I was. I'm here representing Jonathan Gyronville. Took notes. That's another thing. We do a whole training on that. Even if you're scribbling, make them see you do something because they're going to get nervous. So anyways, court support, we have a whole training on that. It's important. We want to promote, mobilize, and get people out there. That's one way that we can get people home because it does make a difference. The judge takes account of the court support.
I know when I was going to court for my son, it was like me behind the defendant's side and everybody else in the courtroom. And once in a while, I'd get a friend or something to come with me, but for the most part, it was just me. And I had no idea that there was anybody. There was, a victim advocate, but I didn't know who to reach out to. And I just wondered if there's some way to get that going because that is a terrible process to go through alone.
Yeah. So so I guess I should say the disclaimer. We are a grassroots organization. So we're still learning as we go. But as of right now, we use this space on Wednesdays to exchange information and get people going. We send out emails to our network of people, of community members. We use social media, word of mouth. So there's different ways that we mobilize around getting people to come support loved ones in court. We try to get there a little bit early so that we can meet each other and sit with each other, and then we debrief after. And that's really important because most of the time, even if you show up to court, you may not understand what just happened. One thing that I always make sure that we do is we get the defense attorney to explain what just happened to the whole support group in the hallway before we leave. So we can always get better in how we mobilize, but right now it's just kind of word of mouth, and then we put things on paper or digital and try to get it marketed on our social media or via text and phone call as well. All right. Advocacy, it's kind of straightforward. We advocate for individuals, like you would see me doing the Free Fuquan. We advocate for systemic change. So a lot of things that we do, people don't know about it because we don't promote it online. But we have been for years now advocating through the Attorney General's office for an investigation into the bad actors that we know about through the Boston Police Department. So just like the drug lab scandal where they investigated those two chemists and every case connected to those two chemists got thrown out, is exactly what we're asking the AG's office to do with these officers like Detective Keeler, Brazel, that are known to have criminal enterprises, are known to be corrupt, but there's so many cases connected to these officers that aren't being addressed or redressed. So that's some of the systemic work that we're doing on a municipal, state, and federal level, as well as individual advocacy. And we do have Zoom meetings where we show you, and I'll be launching one of these soon, again, on how to advocate, like 101 basic advocacy, and then you can customize it to your loved one or your mission. So Miss Denise, for example, is a perfect example. She advocated for the joint venture bill and gave us information on when and how to support that. And then I'm assuming that her son was convicted on a joint venture. So that's an example of how we advocate. Some people may not want to disclose their loved one's name for whatever reason. You can really focus on the legislative change that you want and advocate that way. So there's a lot of different ways to advocate. And I always say you don't have to I talk, I get on the mic. That's not for everyone. So you could advocate through music, clothing, art, short films, podcasts. So there's so much different ways that we advocate. And this is an example of the freedom campaign that I've been working on for Fuquan, making petitions, social media pages, even showing up to a basketball game with a sign and pictures and t-shirts, the State House. This is the blueprint of what we want to be able to make duplicatable to your loved one. show you how to build a social media or a freedom campaign of your own. It doesn't have to be digital. But everything that Fuquan and I are doing on both sides of the wall are blueprints to be duplicated. So when he leaves, the guys are going to know how to, like the Underground Railroad, the map, they're going to have their way to freedom. Everyone has to customize it in their own way. But he's leaving that blueprint. And as I'm learning and advocating for Fuquan, I'm creating a blueprint as well that I want to help you duplicate for your loved one. So advocacy is pretty straightforward. We do educational workshops in schools, universities, in the community. We had our very first one last year, July, in Springfield. It went incredible. And we have educational workshops almost every month here. And I'm always looking for volunteers and people to help me with the workshops, especially if you love working with youth. I always bring the guys with me. I'll have a poster board. I'll have an audio recording. We always incorporate the guys behind the wall into these workshops because at the end of the day, even when we're educating, we're advocating. So this is some examples of different education and community engagement events that we've done. Pedro has done a bunch with me. We went up to MIT, all types of stuff. And I'm going to play the short video. This is one of the workshops that I did in July. I had a lot of fun with the youth. And this is just a quick video.
The Harriet Tubman Project Jeopardy game. The rules are simple. Hit the buzzer, answer the question, you get it right, you get the point. You have 40 seconds to answer. If you do not get the question correct, the other people have a chance to steal. Very, very simple. Rules is very, very simple. All right, let's get into it. Enough time wasted.
So these were a bunch of young adults. We had a 5-week educational workshop. And at the last week, they had to create a Jeopardy game and a Family Feud game based off of the content that we learned at Harriet Tubman. And when I tell you we had so much fun, I don't think they learned much because they did so bad on the game, but it was a lot of fun. They were really into it, and we'll be going back in October. So, we try to get creative and make it fun because we are talking about serious issues. Very, very, very proud of them for doing that. All right. Reentry resources and referrals. So I showed you in the beginning of today's Zoom a video of Hamza getting his Lexus. So far, we've referred 5 people to get a car that have came through our Harriet Tubman programming. And this has been incredible. And we want to continue to refer people for whatever referrals and resources they need: laptops, housing, cell phones, jobs, quarry sealing. So we have a lot of resources, and on the Harriet Tubman Project website, there is a resource page where you can look up other resources, and we're going to always continue to add to this. So whether you are going in to visit somebody or you're coming home, we are collecting resources, whether you need an attorney. Our resource page, which I will drop in the chat, is giving you a bit of a directory on how to get that information. So there's a lot more resources to come, but the second chance car is one of our more popular ones. This was last week on wrongful conviction. Listen, I got short legs. It's my car. Yes, it is. So that's our recent recipient, Chatera. She was so excited. We were so excited for her. She so deserves that car. We have G Mizzo. We have Pedro. Pedro was our first recipient. And we got Truth over here in the corner. So Truth is on the board. He's an artist. He's right here in the middle. Or not the middle, the end. Oh, there we go. Truth is who connected us to Second Chance Cars. He was the very first person to get a car from Second Chance Cars. He's on their board. He's also on the Harriet Tubman Project's board. And we appreciate him so much. So you'll see him in all the videos as well as me. That's Hamza getting his car, me and Hamza and Truth. And this is Joey. Joey's usually on the Zoom. For those of you that are on the Zoom with us every week, Joey's the one that is working. Every time He's on the Zoom, he's in the car making deliveries, or he's making pizzas, but he's on the Zoom. And this is him getting his car last year.
Joey, that's really nice.
Yeah, oh man. Go ahead.
Congratulations. Jose.
And yeah, there you go. Open her up.
You have the key.
Corey prepared it for you. You got the plates on it.
This is nice.
I'm scared to touch it. I don't want to break it.
Start her up.
Hey, it works. That was so much fun. Public records request support. We talk so much about open file discovery, which is the policy that Rachel Rollins had in place when she was the prosecutor in Suffolk County, where she was saying, here, take your prosecutor's file. We have nothing to hide. And so many people were able to come home because they had their prosecutor's file. And that's the exact way that Fuquan is able to come home. When he got his prosecutor's file, he received 10,000 pages of exculpatory evidence, of newly discovered evidence that was never shown to him that the prosecutor had. And that's what has helped create the snowball effect for him to come home. So we will always advocate for you to have your defense attorney files, your police files, and most importantly, your prosecutor's files. That's the hardest one to get, but that's what we will be pushing at every level for people to get. If that's the only thing that the Harriet Tubman Project ever does moving forward, is making sure that defendants get that file, because once you have that file, now you're on your way to freedom. But that's something that's only being done on the inside right now. Once Fuquan's home, he can help us. This is Fuquan at the AACC doing his thing, teaching a Harriet Tubman class, passionate. But yes, he teaches and he helps brothers put in public records requests so that they can get different files that they never had before. So that's really, really helpful because it's helped a lot of people go to court with new evidence. And this is the most exciting part. Transportation. So we projected by winter of 2026, Harriet Tubman Project would have vans to take people to their visits. But as of yesterday, we were able to secure a partnership for 3 vans. All right. So this is a little van. Okay. We got 3 of them. They sit 8 passengers, 9 if you have someone with a wheelchair. So moving forward, if there is a court hearing, we're going to organize to get in the van and drive up there together. So you don't have to pay for parking. You don't have no excuse why you're not there to support your loved one. Going to visit people in prison. As of right now, MCI Norfolk, we have a van. We want to expand to the women's prisons. We want to expand to the other prisons. But as of right now, we're going to start with MCI Norfolk. So this means a lot to me because I would wake up at 8 o'clock, get on a 10 o'clock train to get to Norfolk by 11:30, just to be able to see Fuquan by 1 o'clock. And it was a 30-minute walk once I got each way to get on the commuter rail. So I took the commuter rail, I rented a car, I even rented a U-Haul to get up there to see Fuquan. We're not doing that no more. If you have issues, we're going to get you to go see your loved one, at least at MCI Norfolk right now. So like I said, it's 8 passenger. And then there's access for wheelchair in the back. And of course, if there's a baby, we need to know in advance so we can have a car seat available. But this is so exciting. It's free to the community. Donations, are encouraged to help put gas in the car. But we are going to help bring people home. Court, events, all of that good stuff. There's a lot of great things happening. And again, it's being led by those directly impacted, which is exactly what it should be about. And I'm going to wrap it up with one of our last programs. This is to come, 2026. We want to be able to provide like a support group, especially since we have a little van now. As loved ones, whether you're a mother, a sister, a wife, a child of someone that's incarcerated, it is stressful. It is lonely. And yes, we can get on these Zooms and talk. Yes, we can go to court together, but we need to be able to have fun with each other, live life with each other. So in 2026, once we have a little bit of funding, because right now we're doing this with absolutely $0, we want to be able to pick you up with your kids and go bowling, take you to Level 99 or Speedway, or is it Speedway? Anyways, we want to have fun with each other. You know, it's very heavy work. Again, it's very lonely work, but we want to remind you that you're not alone. So that's one of the programs that we want to start in 2026. And any and all programs that I shared with you today, we are looking for volunteers. We need help. Again, we're doing this with $0. The last event we had, the Men Behind the Wall took money out their commissary to make that event happen. So we are going to continue the work with or without the dollars, because no one can take our education from us. But if there's any questions, any feedback, or any ideas, we can close out, or any thoughts. You know, if it was your first time, what do you think?
I thought this was great. I like that things are getting done. I am in several other groups, and some of them are really just emotional support, meeting other people that have been through the situation. I also run a group, a co-facilitator for families that have loved ones with long sentences. But I I don't want just the emotional support. I want to do something. I want some changes made, and that is exactly this is what I've been looking for.
Thank you for that feedback, Ms. Denise. And in those groups that you're a part of, if you know of anyone, or if you can ask anyone if they have trouble with transportation to Norfolk, we want to
Right.
get a head count.
So
And
most of these are like they're throughout the United States, but I've
okay.
gotten to meet I've gotten to learn more about how other systems are working. And, like for instance, in Pennsylvania, where a friend of mine's son is, the vending machines, they have fresh food and salad instead of just junk food like at Norfolk.
Mhm.
So it gives me ideas on what could be done if you find the right people to back you.
Right.
But
Right.
there's a couple online from Massachusetts. I haven't had as much luck getting them involved, but I'll certainly, if anyone asks for anything, I'll let them know, contact you, because I think
Yes.
you provide a lot of really good services.
Yes, please. And we're here to support the community. And similar to how you hear of things happening in other states, this is kind of also what we do with the law. When a law passes somewhere else, it's easier for us to get that pushed here because we can show how it's working. I mean, I would love a salad instead of eating the stuff that they give us,
I
but
know, right? I mean, they don't get very much of anything fresh like that, you
yeah,
know?
thank you. No, this is all helpful. It is all necessary. And the more that we get together, the more resources we can share with one another
Mhm.
as well. If there's anything that you need and you didn't get from the Zoom, please reach out to me. You should have my contact, email, or social media. Does anyone else have anything that they want to share or say before we wrap up? I know there's some pictures missing. So if your loved one's picture is missing, please submit it, because every time we do a presentation in the community, I always end it by making sure that everyone sees the pictures of those that we're fighting for. I want to thank everyone for coming out. We'll be back next Wednesday from 7 to 8. I'll be announcing the topic on our social media pages. And until then, stay in touch, follow us on social media, reach out to me personally. I love and appreciate all of you. And remember, you're not alone. Peace.